हेलो बच्चों, कैसे हैं आप सभी? न्यूज़पेपर रेगुलरली पढ़ रहे हैं, राइट? एंड यू आर कनेक्टिंग एवरीथिंग whatever you read from the newspaper with your syllabus, and also solving previous year question papers of prelims, as well as you are looking at the mains questions of previous years given by UPSC, so that you understand the significance of the topics from newspaper whichever is coming in the form of the articles, etc., so that it's easy for you to grasp the things as per the demand of the examination. So there is the one article today about Israel and Gaza issue, Israel-Palestine crisis, etc., that we will be looking up in very much detail. So I bet you any questions from this area you will be able to tackle today if you read from the handouts that is provided. After this discussion, download the Telegram channel handout of the Hindu newspaper notes, so that you just read and revise. And I have covered everything: historical perspective, India's stand, what is the role of the US, and what is all, how the developments happen, what are the challenges in solving the dispute, the issues between the two countries, between the two state players, and also what is the solutions, etc. So look at the article that we are going to discuss today in very much detail: the war on Gaza and America's paradoxical role. Paradoxical मतलब जो clear नहीं है ना, कभी इधर का stand है, कभी उधर का stand है, sure नहीं है. So if the US wants, it can resolve the issue, it can provide a clear-cut solution, but it is not. It is having a paradoxical stand on this, which is not clear. कभी इधर कभी उधर, So it's like that. So let's read the paragraph in detail. So the first paragraph that is we are going to take up is: there has been growing criticism of Israel for this massacre, but its Western allies are equally capable, most notably the United States. So जो Israel है, ठीक है, its ally is US, and US is supporting Israel in all its conflictual, or say all in all its activities against the Palestine the player. Okay, so the issue, the happening which was much criticized was most of the Israel casualties were the result of attacks by Hamas, and over 100 hostages still remain unaccounted for. However, the Israel attack that has followed since that day of terror is one of the worst in humanity. The tragedy playing out in live, so because the tragedy was played out live, so we could see how the things were happening, kitna condition pathetic tha when it comes to the crisis on humanity overall. That was telecasted live, everybody was looking at it, so nobody could ignore the happenings which was developing there. So but it is saying that what is growing, what is happening, what is being done by Israel is not just it cannot be just attributed to Israel, but equally Western allies, for example US, is also responsible. Then hypocrisy of neutrality, it says that in name of neutrality, which is quite hypocritic, sirf dikhane ki neutrality hai, but actually there is no neutrality. US is backing out all the activities done by the Israel against Palestine. So look at this: the US is Israel's largest trading partner. Why US somehow, somewhere, why US supports Israel? Because of these factors, like US is Israel's largest trading partner, and its aid contributes to 60% of Israel's military expenditure. तो जितना military expenditure है Israel का, जो भी Israel US से aid receive करता है, that aid contributes to 60% of this Israel's military expenditure. तो जितना military expenditure, as I said, is done by Israel, of this 16% expenditure is done by receiving the aid from US. So imagine the kind of relationship US and Israel is having, and why US supports Israel in this endeavor. The Arab-Israel ties normalization drive, often brokered by America, has gradually removed the Palestine cause from Arab politics. If Israel's settler colonialism is monster, then the US is Dr. Frankenstein. तो आपने फ्रैंकेनस्टाइन की स्टोरी सुनी है कि जो डॉक्टर फ्रैंकेनस्टाइन होता है वो एक जो है अपने एक्सपेरिमेंट में एक जो है मॉन्स्टर क्रिएट कर देता है, और वो मॉन्स्टर क्या करता है, फ्रैंकेनस्टाइन को ही जो है मारने के लिए आतुर हो जाता है। इट स्टार्ट्स किलिंग इट्स ओन क्रिएटर। तो यूएस को इसमें फ्रैंकेनस्टाइन बोला और बोला कि अगर जो है पैलेस्टाइन जो ये है इशू है पैलेस्टाइन का, टोटल पैलेस्टाइन कॉज है, अगर जो इजराइल सेटलर कॉलोनिज्म है अगर वो मॉन्स्टर है तो यूएस जो है फ्रैंकेनस्टाइन है, मतलब यूएस ने इस मॉन्स्टर को क्रिएट किया है, अब यूएस पे ही ये भारी पड़ रहा है। सो दिस इज दी ऑल दीज थिंग्स यू शुड ऑल्सो नोट डाउन, जैसे डॉक्टर फ्रैंकेनस्टाइन क्या है, क्या डिलेमा है फ्रैंकेनस्टाइन का, प्रॉब्लम क्या है, डॉक्टर फ्रैंकेनस्टाइन क्रिएटेड अ मॉन्स्टर, नाउ द मॉन्स्टर इज टू मच हैवी ऑन द फ्रैंकेनस्टाइन सेल्फ, फ्रैंकेनस्टाइन को मारने के पीछे पड़ गया है। एंड देन फर्दर दिस लाइन, you must read this line, the American hypocrisy of neutrality was most visible. So we are talking about America's hypocrisy in name of neutrality. American hypocrisy of neutrality was not visible in President Donald Trump's Peace of Prosperity Plan, a brainchild of Jared Kushner, which proposed to further take away land from Palestine and hand Jerusalem to Israel, and failed to provide Palestinians with the right to return or have a military defense after statehood. It was a completely pro-Israel plan and rightly rejected by Palestine Authority. So we were reading about Peace to Prosperity Plan, and who prepared? It was under President Donald Trump and prepared by Jared Kushner, and it was pro-Israel but against Palestinian interests, where Palestinians rejected this. ठीक है? So this is the important line, and then further this line you need to note down that I have highlighted is the Houthis destruction of Bab el-Mandeb. हाउती अभी बाबल मंदेब कहाँ पे है, रेड सी एरिया में है, और हमने ये few months back there was attacks on the Red Sea trade route, sea trade route जो है, and it was impacting the entire international trade. Because of this, Houthis was in news. Houthis were targeting, disrupting Red Sea trade route, and Bab el-Mandeb is in that area. So Bab el-Mandeb, where it is, mark in map, find out where is this Bab el-Mandeb, and then further Houthis disruption of Bab el-Mandeb and Iran's retaliation after the Israel attack on its consulate in Damascus can have a domino effect. Domino effect, अब another vocab for you. Domino effect क्या होता है? This is homework for you. Tell me the meaning of domino effect and comment in the comment box down this YouTube video. I will see and mark which ones are correct so that every one of you can understand what is the meaning of domino effect. So this is, I have told you the meaning of Frankenstein, Dr. Frankenstein dilemma क्या है. I told you about Dr. Frankenstein monster. ठीक है? This I told you. Now I am giving this homework, the meaning of domino effect. You have to find this out and provide your comment in the YouTube discussion of this video so that I will put a thumbs up whoever have given a right answer. And I'll also, this is the point and time now I should start analyzing my students, whether they are watching the videos properly, whether they are going through the Telegram channel, handout, revising whatever we discuss here, so that, kind of positive correlation, positive वर्चुअल साइकिल गेट्स क्रिएटेड. आज हम जो पढ़ रहे हैं, कल परसों नरसों बहुत सारे पॉइंट्स कॉमन आते हैं न्यूज़पेपर में. ऐसे ही आपका टाइम घटता है जब आप डिस्कशंस देखते हो, जब आप न्यूज़पेपर लगातार पढ़ते रहते हो, तो आपका टाइम कैसे घटेगा. और मेरा जो यहाँ पे एफर्ट है, जब मैं एफर्ट डाल रही हूँ आपको पढ़ाने का, न्यूज़पेपर आपके लिए ईजी करने का, मुझे दिखना चाहिए कि मैं आपका काम ईजी कर रही हूँ. और आपका काम तभी ईजी होगा, नहीं कि मैं यहाँ पे सिर्फ क्लास लेके चले जाऊँ तभी आपका काम ईजी नहीं होगा. आपको भी रिवाइज करना पड़ेगा. ठीक है? इसलिए मैं इतनी मेहनत से आपके लिए टेलीग्राम चैनल पे हैंड आउट भी प्रोवाइड कर रही हूँ, रोज नोट्स बना के, सो दैट इट इज इजी फॉर यू टू रिवाइज विदाउट यू मेकिंग एफर्ट्स टू मेक नोट्स. ठीक है? सो डोमिनो इफेक्ट, इसका मीनिंग कमेंट इन दी कमेंट बॉक्स. देन फर्दर द अदर थिंग व्हिच आई वांट टू लुक एट इज द लास्ट पैराग्राफ. डिस्पाइट इट्स यूनिक पोजिशन टू इन्फ्लुएंस पीस. सो यहाँ पे हम यूएस का रोल देख रहे हैं इन इजराइल पैलेस्टाइन conflict. Okay, we are looking at this through this article. So now here is the concluding remark. Despite its unique position to influence peace, the US continues to play a paradoxical role, simultaneously capable of ending violence and perpetuating the status quo. मतलब जो अब US के जो रोल है, वाई बोल रहा है कि पैराडॉक्सिकल है, मतलब ये ख़त्म भी कर सकता है इसकी जो कॉन्फ्लिक्ट चल रही है इजराइल एंड पैलेस्टाइन की, और इसको परपेचुएट भी कर सकता है, मतलब बढ़ा भी सकता है। तो दोनों, और स्टेटस को या तो स्टेटस को भी मेंटेन कर सकता है, प्रॉब्लम को बढ़ा भी सकता है, या सोल्यूशन भी प्रोवाइड कर सकता है। तो अब देखते हैं कि क्यों नहीं प्रोवाइड कर रहा है। एज एविडेंस बाय इस रीसेंट वीटो अगेंस्ट फुल रिकॉग्निशन टू ऑफ पैलेस्टाइन एज द वर्ल्ड वॉचेस, मतलब अभी यहाँ पे हम देख रहे हैं कि एक तरफ तो वो इजराइल को भी सपोर्ट कर रहा है, सपोर्टिंग इजराइल बिकॉज इट्स अ बिग बिजनेस पार्टनर, एंड दूसरी तरफ हम भी देख रहे हैं कि इन दी वीटो, जब वीटो की बात आती है तो ये फुल रिकॉग्निशन भी पैलेस्टाइन को देने की बात कर रहा है। इट्स वोटिंग, इट्स देयर इज एन सॉरी देयर इज अ वीटो अगेंस्ट, मतलब यूएस जो है पैलेस्टाइन को फुल स्टेटहुड देने के अगेंस्ट जो है वीटो, मतलब अगेंस्ट वोट कर रहे हैं, मतलब इट इज वीटोइंग, वीटो मतलब कि अपने वीटो मतलब अपने पावर को इस तरीके से यूज कर रहा है कि जो फुल रिकॉग्निशन देने की बात की जा रही है वहां पे वीटो कर ले रहा है। तो यूएस के बिना पॉजिटिव वोट के फुल रिकॉग्निशन टू पैलेस्टाइन इज नॉट पॉसिबल एंड इट हैज अगेन वीटोड, ठीक है। सो फर्दर एज द वर्ल्ड वॉचेस, Israel's war on Gaza serves as a brutal reminder of the high cost of geopolitical maneuvers and real-world impact of norm-less international diplomacy. ठीक है? So this is about the article, but let us understand now this topic in detail with some additional content. तो इस आर्टिकल से आपको क्या-क्या पढ़ने की जरूरत है? Know about the Israel-Palestine conflict timeline. अब हम एक्स्ट्रा रीडिंग करेंगे। आर्टिकल में तो बस थोड़ा सा बताया कि देयर इज अ कॉन्फ्लिक्ट बिटवीन इजराइल एंड पैलेस्टाइन, ठीक है, दिस हैज बीन मेंशन। देन यूएस रोल हैज बीन मेंशन इन टर्म्स ऑफ पैराडॉक्सिकल नेचर। पैराडॉक्सिकल क्यों है? दैट वी सॉ सम डेटा वी सॉ बिटवीन द इजराइल एंड यूएस ट्रेड रिलेशंस, and how far US is supporting Israel's cause, and how US is acting as a Western ally for all the activities of the Israel. But with this extra reading we will see further more few things like the relationship between Israel Palestine, that is conflictual. Then we'll see timeline, history, some of the recent developments, and there are very important terms like Balfour Declaration। और मैं ये आर्टिकल आज इसलिए बहुत डिटेल में डिस्कस कर रही हूँ बिकॉज in yesterday's discussion we did discuss two international relations related topic, and this topic is in continuation of the same. So impacts, we'll see the conflict between Israel Palestine and the impact. Then we will see in detail role of the US, and further also we'll see India's role, India's stand, and then some of the future outlook. All right, so some of the points we will be discussing. Some of the things you have to download the Telegram channel से जो handout है वो upload हो जाएगा और आपको download करके you have to go through on your own. Let's discuss the important point like what is the background of Israel-Palestine conflict, that is Zionism. कल हमने Zionism के बारे में न्यूज़पेपर में देखा था, we just looked at Zionism but we did not understand the meaning. I had given this homework to Google and to understand more about Zionism, but today let me tell you what is Zionism if you have not gone through on your own. So at its core it is a national endeavor of Jewish people supporting and advocating for restoration of Jewish homeland traditionally identified with the area of Palestine or biblical land of Israel. So Zionism, this is the meaning of Zionism कि Jewish people के फेवर में national endeavor है and that is supporting कि भाई आप Jewish homeland को restore करिए, और वो कहाँ था? It was in the area of Palestine or biblical land of the Israel. So this is Zionism. Further, in 19th century witnessed a surge in European nationalistic sentiments paired with a growing wave of anti-Semitism. In this backdrop, Theodor Herzl convened the first Zionist Congress, कब? 1897 में, in Basel, Switzerland. It proposed the movement of Jews toward Palestine and buying of the land from the local population. So now let's look at Israel-Palestine map, and this is very confusing most of the time, and UPSC does ask questions, map-based questions from this area. So despite being one of the smallest regions in the world, the area comprising Israel-Palestine has several key areas. बहुत छोटी जगह है but बहुत की एरियाज हैं इस टोटल एरिया में. Let's look at these territories. Look at this map. So here is Syria. So this is Syria. This very small area is West Bank. Here it is Lebanon, and Israel, capital of Israel is Tel Aviv. Then here a very small area is Gaza. This is Jerusalem, and this is, by the way, this is completely Israel. Okay, this is Israel and Tel Aviv. This is the capital of Israel. Jordan on the east side, on the west side is Egypt, and there is Lebanon, and on the north east area this is Syria. Okay, so this is how is the region looks like, and you have to remember this map very carefully because this is mostly in the region. So Gaza Strip क्या है? Gaza Strip की location देखो आप. The Gaza Strip is a coastal Palestine region along the Mediterranean Sea bordered by Israel and Egypt's Sinai Peninsula. Together with the West Bank, it forms the state of Palestine. So Gaza Strip plus West Bank, this is state of Palestine with Israel situated between the two territories. ठीक है? Governance क्या है? Hamas. It is governed by Hamas, a politico-military entity, has administered the Gaza Strip since its electoral victory in 2006. Control किसका है? While Israel maintains authority over Gaza's airspace and coastline, it has also implemented limitations on goods entering the territory. Additionally, Egypt manages its border with Gaza. So कौन-कौन है? Israel भी है, Egypt भी है. Now Palestine भी बोल रहा है, Palestine तो बोल ही रहा है कि मेरा है. Now West Bank, important. Next area is West Bank. Gaza Strip हमने देख लिया. Now West Bank. Location: this territory is landlocked and is bordered by Israel and Jordan, with the Dead Sea marking part of its boundary. Administration किसका है? A section of Jerusalem is within the West Bank. The region is governed by Fatah, previously recognized as the Palestinian National Liberation Movement. ठीक है? Fatah. Now location. Now about Jerusalem. So West Bank, important जो हमने देखी territories, those are Gaza Strip. ठीक है, पहला हमने देखा Gaza Strip, second देखा हमने West Bank. Now we are on Jerusalem. So Jerusalem की location क्या है? Look at this. So Jerusalem location located on the plateau on the Judean mountains between the Mediterranean Sea and the Dead Sea, is roughly in the center of Israel and is bordered by several Palestine territories. Administration: Jerusalem is divided into several districts. Jewish majority West Jerusalem and predominantly Palestine East Jerusalem, which includes Old City. अब it holds profound significance for three major world religions. अब ये important क्यों है ये area जो है Jerusalem? So this is important because it has three major world religions. कौन कौन से? Judaism, Christianity and Islam. So this particular region is important for world's three religious community. Now the Israel government operates out of Jerusalem with Knesset and the residence of the president and prime minister located in the city. So these three regions you should not be confused. You should know through map. You should remember their map. You should remember what all the area comes into this and who is administrating and who and which countries are having more control. So we have looked at Gaza Strip, West Bank, Jerusalem. Next is what is the Israel and Palestine. तो कॉन्फ्लिक्ट क्या है? इसराइल का पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू क्या है? पैलेस्टाइन पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू क्या है? जिसकी वजह से कॉन्फ्लिक्ट धीरे धीरे बढ़ी है. This I want you to read on your own. I have provided this notes. You can look at. This is easy to understand. What I wanted to, and then again there is Israel and Palestine timeline. First, how the conflict, how the crisis developed. Historical background. Trust me, I have put the best of the best content about Israel and Palestine conflict in this handout. If you read, just go through entire issue, historical timeline, the present stand, the historical stand, India stand, US stand, and all the countries, all the players involved in this will be clear to you, and any kind of question comes, you can solve, you can attempt easily. ठीक है? तो this Israel and Palestine timeline जो है, that also you can read on your own. Like जैसे कि background post World War I, creation of British mandate. तो Balfour Declaration. Through Balfour Declaration, Britain supported the establishment of a national home for Jewish people in Palestine. देन मैंडेट चार्टर एंड ज्यूइश इमिग्रेशन, आलिया जिसको बोलते हैं, ज्यूइश इमिग्रेशन जब हुआ था उसको आलिया बोलते हैं. लार्ज वेव्स ऑफ ज्यूइश इमिग्रेंट्स अराइव्ड इन पैलेस्टाइन स्पेशली फॉलोइंग द राइज ऑफ नाजिज्म इन यूरोप. So then what the major event which happened is post World War. Post World War में क्या हुआ? The British decided to give up their mandate to newly established United Nations, and then there was a role of the UNSCOP as well that you can read on your own. Then there was establishment of state of Israel. First Israel war कब हुआ? 1948-1949 में. Keep looking on the screen. You can read on this own. You know, then first Arab-Israel war which happened between 1948 to 49. Initial phase, territorial gains, Palestine exodus, armistice agreement क्या था, ये सब factual information है. You can go through on your own. Then happens 1917, continued tension and hope. Some of the major like Yom Kippur War was the part of Israel-Palestine conflict in year 1970s onward. It happened in 1973. Despite the vast territories captured by Israel in 1967, there was no comprehensive peace settlement. Surprise attacks were there on October 6, 1973, coinciding with Jewish holiday of Yom Kippur. Egypt and Syria launched coordinated surprise attack on Israel. मतलब इजराइल पे इजिप्ट और सीरिया दोनों मिल के कोऑर्डिनेटेड अटैक किया. कब? जब जो ज्यूइश थे दे वर मार्किंग द डे हॉलिडे ऑफ योम किप्पुर. ऑलराइट, all these things you should know. And then happens Camp David Accords, like Yom Kippur War, Balfour Declaration, Camp David Accords. All these things you have to remember. You cannot escape from some of the factual information and the timeline. Then Camp David Accords happened in 1978, in which by the late 1970s both Egypt and Israel, encouraged by US, were considering the possibility of peace negotiations. Key outcomes क्या था? Framework of peace in Middle East. Egypt-Israel peace treaty was established then in 1980s. Then third phase 1980s, Lebanon and Intifada. So इंतिफादा का मतलब क्या है ये पता होना चाहिए. There was a formation of Hamas, और आपने देखा है अभी हमास का बहुत बड़ा रोल है. Formation of Hamas happened in 1987. Israel's invasion of Lebanon happened in 1982. First Intifada. तो इंतिफादा क्या है? इंतिफादा between 1987 to 1993. इंतिफादा क्या है? Background: growing frustration among Palestinians in the occupied territories, West Bank and Gaza Strip, due to Israel military occupation and lack of political progress, led to simmering tensions. Nature of uprising क्या था? The Intifada. Intifada का मतलब होता है shake off, the shaking off. In Arabic was characterized by civil disobedience, protest and sporadic violence. मतलब बहुत सारा violence हुआ. और आपको याद रखने की जरूरत है इंतिफादा का मतलब अरब में होता है shaking off. Palestinians employed tactics like stone throwing, general strikes, boycotts of Israel products, etc. So, and all these things you should know. Intifada का outcome क्या था? You can read. Then in 1990s, Oslo Accords happens. In the Oslo Accords, key outcomes were mutual recognition, interim government, and then phased Israeli withdrawal was happening. Then economic cooperation, challenges and criticism क्या था Oslo Accord का? Separately, by the way, separately there can be a question on Oslo Accord. तो जितना भी फैक्चुअल इंफॉर्मेशन है, हिस्टोरिकल बैकग्राउंड है, टाइमलाइन है, रोल है वेस्टर्न अलाइज का फॉर इजराइल, हमास का फॉर्मेशन कब होता है, इंतिफाडा, ऑस्लो अकॉर्ड्स, Balfour Declaration, everything is important. I have given everything, so just go through and understand the timeline. Then challenges क्या थे? Vague on the key issues. There were security concerns, settlement expansion, lack of enforcement mechanism was there. That's why we can say Oslo Accords 1 failed. Then comes Oslo Accords 2 in 1995. What happened? There was an agreement between Israel PM Yitzhak Rabin and Palestine Liberation Organization Mahmoud Abbas, overseen by US President Bill Clinton. Key outcomes भी थे, you can read, but then again it failed because of some of the challenge and criticism, like territorial fragmentation happened, economic dependence was there, assassination of Yitzhak Rabin happened, bypassing other Palestinian groups like Hamas and other Palestinian factions who are not part of negotiation. जब हमास जो फैक्शंस हैं इन पैलेस्टाइन, जब उनका ही इन्वॉल्वमेंट नहीं था पीस एंड नेगोशिएशन में, ऑब्वियसली इट विल फेल. एंड ऑल्सो देयर वाज असैसिनेशन ऑफ द Yitzhak Rabin as well. Then in 2000, second Intifada happens and wars in Gaza happens. Then second Intifada 2000 to 2005. Background: outbreak forces क्या थे second Intifada में? Wars in Gaza. And then further then there was a tension between Hamas and Fatah, led to brief civil war in Gaza in 2006. So Gaza war happened in 2008-2009, where there was Operation Cast Lead, and then from 2000 to present, tensions and peace attempts. Now we have entered to 2010, and we will be looking at the timelines from 2010 to present. So 2010 में there were peace talks facilitated by United States. Then outcomes क्या थे? Effectively collapsed within weeks. It was unsuccessful. Then US embassy moved to Jerusalem in 2018, and what was the reaction? The move was celebrated in Israel but was met with strong opposition from Palestinians. Obviously, peace to prosperity plan was floated in 2020, and then what were the key points? The plan favored many Israel-Palestine positions such as annexing parts of the West Bank, recognizing Jerusalem as Israel's undivided capital, and not allowing the right of return for Palestinian refugees. Obviously, there will be strong reactions. Then Gaza conflict in 2021. We are almost at the present now, 2021. Then we'll look at till 2024. Then what happens? What was the trigger point which led to the Gaza conflict? Tensions around the potential eviction of Palestinian families in East Jerusalem, Sheikh Jarrah neighborhood, and Israel police action at Al-Aqsa Mosque during Ramadan culminated in rocket fire from Gaza and Israel airstrikes in May 2021. Conflict kya tha? There was 11-day war resulted in death of over 200 Palestinians and 12 Israelis. And imagine 2021 situation, now 2024, the situation has culminated into more conflict, more violence, and more deaths. Ceasefire, the Egypt brokered ceasefire took effect on, then Egypt facilitated, and there was a ceasefire in 2021, May 21. So present conflict, Hamas attack happened in 2023. Now, what is the background of present conflict? Genesis of present conflict lies in the attack of militants from Hamas on Israel forces and citizens, and subsequent capture of numerous civilians, leading to an emergency in the nation. Motivation kya tha Hamas ka? Hamas described the assault as a retaliation for Israel's military operation in West Bank and incidents at the Al-Aqsa Mosque in Jerusalem. So this led to the present conflict in the region. Then Israel stand on India stand क्या है Israel Palestine के conflict में? India supports a two-state nation that we already had seen yesterday. India does support a two-state nation solution. Then two-state solution, maintaining diplomatic ties with both. हमारा जो एक तो हमने देखा था कि India stand is neutral, but yet we have positive and favorable relations independently with both the players, international players as well, despite being neutral. तो कैसा है? We maintain a diplomatic ties with both Israel and Palestine, advocating peaceful resolutions and balancing strategic partnership while emphasizing historical support for the Palestine cause. Several dimensions of India's stand on Israel conflict, Palestine conflict include, like background, dekha, Palestine tilt is there, Gandhi's disapproval of Jewish state. Gandhi did not approve Jewish state. Then a significant Muslim demographic is there, ties with Arab nations are there. Then all these things you can just go through. I have provided very impactful, very compacted synopsis for the India stand on Israel-Palestine conflict. Then what are the possible solutions? Possible solutions could be two-state solution, then alliance model like pairing two nations with combined duties and free transit between them. Financial infusion has to be there, disarmament has to be taken up by both the players, and then company diplomacy efforts like localized campaigns fostering unity between Israel and Palestine residents has to be taken up. So these are the few of the things for Israel-Palestine conflict, and you just go through, read through the handout, and this particular Israel-Palestine conflict in historical terms, timeline, etc., everything will get clear to you. Let's look at PYQ on Israel-Palestine conflict. So PYQ कैसे question है? The term two-state solution is sometimes mentioned in the news in the context of the affairs of. तो UPSC Prelims 2018 में question आया हुआ है. It's very easy. You can see Israel. All right, we already have looked at. Look at this question of the mains 2004. Write about ICJ verdict on Israel's erection of barrier on West Bank. So Israel erected a barrier on the West Bank. On this, there was an ICJ, International Court of Justice verdict in 2004. The question came. And then question 3, write about Camp David Accord of 1978. We did discuss Camp David Accord, and there was 2 Camp David Accords. We did look at the challenge and the solution. And then question 4, examine the opportunities for a lasting West Asia peace solution in the context of historic talks started in September 2010. हमने ये भी अपने हैंड आउट एंड डिस्कशन में कवर किया है और कर चुके हैं, डिस्कस भी कर चुके हैं. यू कैन जस्ट गो थ्रू अगेन एंड यू कैन राइट दिस क्वेश्चन इजीली. देन what all you should know. What are the FAQs on Israel-Palestine conflict? First, Balfour Declaration, you must know, and we already discussed that. Then what is the Camp David Accord, Camp David Summit or Camp David Accord, that we also discussed. These are the FAQs you must know on Israel-Palestine conflict. And then what is the Dome of the Rock, located within Al-Aqsa Mosque complex in Jerusalem's Old City. This Islamic shrine is a highly sensitive spot revered by both Islams and the Jews. So Dome of the Rock, UPSC इस तरीके का क्वेश्चन पूछता है. जैसे एक बार पूछा था कि जो है गोलन हाइट्स कहाँ है, तो अब Dome of the Rocks भी पूछा जा सकता है. You must know it's located within Al-Aqsa Mosque complex in Jerusalem's Old City. And यहाँ this is an Islamic shrine and it is highly sensitive spot, both revered by Islam and Jews. So what is first intifada? We already looked at. What is Hamas? That also we have understood is Islamic Palestinian militant group which governs the Gaza Strip, was founded in late 1987 amidst the first Palestine Intifada. So this is about some of the previous year question paper, previous year question and historical background, detailed timeline, India stand, US stand, what is the reasons of the conflicts, what are all historical development we dealt with in detail about Israel-Palestine conflict. Okay, just it's too much to digest. I understand it's international relations. For you, if you are a just newbie, or I must say if you are new entrant in the UPSC preparation, तो थोड़ा सी international relations वगैरह बहुत सारे dynamics involved है तो tough लगता है. लेकिन जिस तरीके से मैंने handout में content दिया हुआ है, it will be very easy for you. Just have patience and go through, read. Trust me, I guarantee, I challenge that anything, any question now depending on the topic surrounding the topic of Israel-Palestine, you can easily attempt with effort, without much effort and ease. Just read, remember some of the facts you have to remember, some of the facts you have to mug up and memorize. Alright, so with this, I end up today's discussion of daily newspaper analysis. Do read, be consistent with your current affairs and newspaper regime. I'll see you tomorrow. All the best, bachcha. Tathastu.